Have you ever wondered why your sales approaches are not working? Do you think there's something that you're doing that is not making your sales to fall in line as it ought to be? Then today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the reasons why your sales approaches might not be working and some of the things that you can do to actually turn that situation around. If you're just joining us on this channel, I want to say a very big thank you. And if you are one of our existing subscribers, I also want to say a very big thank you to you as well. So one of the things that I discovered is that there are lots of reasons why sales actually do not fall in line as they ought to be. And some of the reasons are things that we ourselves might be doing deliberately, and some might be due to external factors. Some of the things I'm going to be sharing are things that are within our control that we can make adjustment in. One of the things that actually might lead to some of your sales approaches not working is when you are selling things that people do not need. So for example, if you are speaking to someone that doesn't actually need your product and you're trying to convince him to buy, a lot more times you're going to spend more time trying to convince that person, and it will look like you're actually wasting your time in trying to get the person to buy. Or sometimes even when you get them to buy, one of the things that happens is that you might actually sell to them, but what will happen is that those customers might not return because they were not really happy buying what you sold to them because it wasn't what they needed. What that leads to is that you have a situation where you have customers that are actually not satisfied, and that leads to you not to having return customers to your product or people that can even refer you to other people. So my advice is that when you're trying to sell to people, try and ensure that what you're selling to them actually meets their needs. And that is one of the ways by which you can continue to guarantee return customers. The second reason is that you might actually not be selling on value. So what do I mean by this? Value is what your product is worth. It talks about the things that you put inside that product or that service that makes it worth its money. So for example, if you say a product is £250,000 or a product is 250,000 naira or $250,000, for example. So the question you need to ask yourself is that why is this product this expensive? So it means that the value that you have put into that product or the things that you have put into that product are the things that is making it worth that amount. So for example, if you're trying to sell an estate and you're trying to say that the estate is worth X amount of money, what makes that estate worth that money? Is it the location where the estate is placed? Is it the people that are living in that estate? Is it the amenities that come with using that estate? Or what are the things that makes that estate worth that amount of money? Or you're trying to sell a car to somebody. What makes that car worth that amount of money? So these are some of the things that you need to ask yourself. And so when you're trying to sell to somebody, you need to pitch and sell those values, because that is what makes people to be able to pay the money that you're asking them to pay. But if you're just telling them to pay and you're not explaining the value that that product carries, then a lot of times your sales approach might not be yielding results. So the third reason why your sales approach might actually not be working might be because you are not actually responding to the customer's objections. So what are objections? So objections are reasons why a customer might actually not be going ahead to buy from you. So sometimes customers have reservations in their mind and they might not actually even share it with you. So it's your duty to actually find out why a customer might be stalling to going ahead to buy from you. So recently, one of my customers actually reached out to me and told me that a competitor was actually trying to sell a product to them different from what I was proposing to them. And one of the things they realized is that this product was actually new. But what had happened was that after expressing their objection to this competitor, the competitor told them not to worry, that they were going to come into their facility and demo the products to them. And that was one of the ways by which they were trying to use to actually overcome that objection. So you must try and ensure that you are actually overcoming customers' objections if you want to continue to win your sales. So you must realize that objections will always happen, but you must find out ways to actually be able to go around those objections. And by doing so, you'll be able to actually further your conversation with the customer and you'll have a better chance in closing those deals. The fourth reason why your sales approach might also not be working could be that you are speaking to the wrong people. So when I mean the wrong people, I mean the decision makers. So sometimes when you're trying to sell a product, especially within an organization, there are several people that you actually need to speak to. And you must realize that if you're speaking to the wrong person, so for example, if you're speaking to the end user and you're not speaking to, let's say, the finance person, or you're not speaking to the procurement people, or you're not speaking to the owner of the business, one of the things that might happen is that that sales process might continue to elongate. And as time goes on, the real people that are calling the shot might even bring in someone else. And that might also lead to you not having that sale. So you must ask yourself that within the confines of this place I'm trying to sell to, who are the key decision makers within this place that I need to speak to? And after identifying those big people, you need to begin to speak to them to ensure that you are able to pass your message to them and they are able to make the right decision. So lastly, one of the reasons why your sales approach might also not be working is that you are not following up properly. And this is very important. So sometimes I realize that after talking to several people, we actually don't really document those people we've spoken to be able to go back to them to ask them if they are going to be going ahead with us and find out why they might actually be stalling. So recently, just like I was explaining earlier, that customer that I told you about, I realized that if I didn't reach out to them to ask them why they were not going ahead with buying from me, they wouldn't have told me that there was another competitor that was trying to sell something to them. So these are some of the things that might be happening when you don't follow up with your customers. Someone else might actually come in to actually steal that sale from you, and the customer might not even tell you. So you have to try and build like a system, if it's weekly or if it's once in 2 weeks, where the people that you've actually spoken to, you go back and find out from them if there are anything that has actually changed in the conversation and how you can actually help that conversation to progress further. So you must realize that for your sales approach to actually work, you must continue to put in the work and check what are the things that you're actually doing rightly or the things that you're not doing well. So when you identify the things that you're not doing well, then you need to sit down and begin to fix them. So if today's video has actually been very useful and you think that this will help someone else, kindly share with them and give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you're yet to do so. Thank you so much for staying tuned to today's video. See you next time.